I'm gonna walk you through my three-step process that I've developed to quit playing video games. That took me from someone who legit used to be like the nerdy gamer kid to someone who has no desire to play video games. I have no desire to play video games anymore. So this is a process that I've developed through a lot of trial and error. I realized quitting video games is not easy. So it took me a lot of trial and error trying different things till I finally figured out how to do it. Now I realize that most of the advice on the internet to quitting video games is trash. You know, it says things like, oh, set a time limit on your gaming, or like, remove your gaming devices from your bedroom. Like, bro, I'm sure you've tried that. I'm sure you know it doesn't work, bro. The advice that you find online for how to quit video games, they're from people who have never tried to quit video games in their life. They don't know how hard it is. They don't know how deep the addiction goes. So this is going to be a guide from someone who's actually been through that process, who's actually tried all the things, and who's actually successfully managed to quit video games. In high school, I would always rush home as fast as I could so I could play video games. And I was a PC gamer, so I played on my gaming computer. See, I got a mechanical keyboard, gaming chair here. I used to play, Counter-Strike, Team Fortress 2, Rocket League, Minecraft. I love the Minecraft Hunger Games. I have probably hundreds of hours in Minecraft Hunger Games. I probably have more than 10,000 hours combined in all these games. So I'm gonna assume that you wanna quit playing games too. If you don't know about how games are affecting and ruining your life, then I highly recommend watching my video, Why I Quit Playing Video Games, or just do your own research and decide for yourself if you want to quit playing video games. But I'm going to assume you already do. So I'm going to walk you through my three-step process that I used. So first of all, you have to realize that quitting video games is not easy. If it was easy, if you could do it overnight, you wouldn't be watching this video, right? You're watching this video because you've tried. You've tried to quit playing video games. You've tried to uninstall the games on your computer. You've tried to hide your laptop or, replace your time with something else, but none of that has worked, right? You can't stop yourself from playing video games. Because the truth is, you've spent your whole life developing this addiction and becoming addicted to video games, because that's what it is. You need to admit that you're addicted to video games. Once you accept that you are, then you can start taking the steps to actually stop playing video games. It took me probably about a year, about a year of going from wanting to actually stop playing video games to actually having no desire to play them anymore. No matter how badly you want to quit video games, you're probably still going to be playing them for a while, and it's going to be hard for you to actually quit them. And that's normal, that's okay. Once you can get rid of that stigma you have and not hate yourself so much every time you relapse, then this journey will become so much healthier. Okay, so I'll walk you through my three-step process. So step 1, accountability. Step 2, reflect. And step 3, replace. Okay, so I'm gonna walk through them. Step 1, accountability. You want to become really aware of your video game usage. Ask yourself these questions. Do you play video games every day? How many hours a day do you play video games? Be honest with yourself. Don't bullshit yourself here. Be honest. Do you play video games every day? How many hours do you play every week? Check, if you use Steam, check your Steam library. It will tell you how many hours you play video games every week. And also ask yourself, what time do you play video games? Is it around the same time every day? Is it at different times every day? So just kind of learn how your video game habit exists in the world. Your goal should not be to go from that many hours a week, that many days a week, to 0. That should not be your goal right away. Because like I said at the beginning of this video, it's going to take a while to overcome this addiction, overcome this habit of playing video games. So you have to do it slowly. Here's an actionable step. Create a habit tracker. 100% do this. Create a habit tracker and tick every day of the month that you play your video games. And be 100% honest with yourself with it. Don't lie. Because I remember when I used to have a habit tracker, I would feel so bad about playing video games on a certain day that I would tick yes, I didn't play video games, even when I did. So be careful with lying to yourself because you're only impeding your process, your progress. So be honest with yourself with this habit tracker. And do this, bro, put it on your wall. Place your habit tracker on your wall where you can see it every day and where you can remember to fill it out every day. I still do habit trackers. Here's mine. I do other habits now, but it's good to put it in a place where you can just see it all the time and you can actually tick if you don't play the video games or X if you do. Make it your goal to simply reduce the number of days that you play every month. So let's say the first month you try to stop playing video games, you're honest with yourself on your habit tracker and you find out that you play video games 25 days that month. Now make it your goal next month to only play maybe 21 times. And then make it your goal in the third month to maybe play only 16 times. But just keep cutting down the number. And within a few months, you will reach the point where you're playing video games maybe like 4 times a month, once a week. And that's pretty good, right? The habit's basically gone. From that point, the habit's just gonna naturally just fall off and you're gonna slowly lose interest in playing the video game at all. And it's not gonna feel like this massive strain. Like if you tried to quit video games cold turkey and you try to like uninstall them and you try to like force yourself to do streaks. Oh my goodness, streaks. Streaks are so toxic. Because if you go back to day 0 of your streak, you feel like you've lost all your progress. But the progress doesn't come in the length of your streak that you have from not playing video games. Your progress comes from simply playing video games less and less every week. Slowly unloading the amount of time you play. So that should be your goal. And one thing is if possible, you want to become aware of what environments cause you to play video games. For example, maybe you only play video games when you're in your room or in your house. If that's the case, then you might want to put in some effort, put in some intention, just be in different environments. So that's step 1, accountability. Now step 2, a ton of you guys are going to want to skip this next step. It's going to seem kind of like wishy-washy and like pointless. Like, give me the actionable advice, This next step is not going to be like the quick tip to stop playing video games. If you want to quit video games faster, you must do this step. It's essential. So this step is, step 2, reflect. You need to find out deeply, like psychologically in your mind, why you play the video games in the first place. Now you might be thinking, you play video games because they're fun, right? Just some fun with your friends, I love playing Minecraft, it's fun. I play it with my friends and we have a good time. Okay, yeah, it's fun. But the thing is, you find so many things in life fun. Fun's not the reason you play video games, okay? Video games are fun, but so are many other things in life. If you're playing the video games, it's because there's some deep psychological need that is being satisfied by these video games. And the goal of this step is to find out what that is so that you can replace it. For me, the deep psychological needs that were being satisfied by video games were things like a need for purpose and progress in my life, a need for brotherhood, a need for clout and respect. Those are the 3 main ones. So the need for purpose and progress. We love to make progress in our lives. We love to have a purpose, something bigger than ourselves that we're working towards. And video games can fill in that need. So for me, I was obsessed with leveling up in the video games. In Counter-Strike, I was obsessed with getting to the next rank. And in my own time, in my free time, I would watch YouTube and I would learn how to get better at Counter-Strike. And I would literally train and get better at it. So I wanted that sense of progress. That was something that was lacking in my life. Every spare moment I had, when I was in the shower, before bed, in class, I would be thinking about the game, planning how I'm going to level up, or planning how I'm going to improve my city in Minecraft. So video games might be filling in that need for purpose and progress in life. And for me, it was also filling in my need for brotherhood. I was very much into like these multiplayer games and interacting with real people, feeling competition like overpowering my enemies, chatting with my team, making online friends. And you got to be really honest with yourself about your needs, right? Do you actually feel a sense of fulfillment from, overcoming the enemy in the game or making friends in your game? You might realize that this game is fulfilling this need that you have for brotherhood, for friendships, for relationships. And when you take away the video game, you'll be left with that loneliness that you have. You'll be left realizing that your life has no progress, no purpose, no relationships. And that's what makes quitting video games so tough, because you're left with reality, which is probably why you're playing video games in the first place, because you're running away from your traumatized reality. And don't just say like, oh yeah, the video game's fulfilling my need for brotherhood. You got to actually realize deep in your mind that that's the case. So I would recommend, getting a piece of paper and writing it down, like, why do I play video games? What kind of sense of fulfillment is it giving me? And really get down deep and figure out the real reason you're playing these games. There are two groups of guys. They're the groups of guys who, they understand that video games are hiding their traumatized life, and they like it. They like running away from reality, and they like almost being in this simulation. Okay, that's one group of men. You're probably not that group of men because you're watching this video. You're probably the group of man that wants something better from his life. He wants to not run from reality and not be covered by this illusion. He wants to achieve something bigger in his life and actually improve his life. And then we can move on to step 3, which is replace. So now, from step 1, you're starting to reduce your time, the days that you spend playing these video games. So maybe you're going to go from like 40 hours a week down to 35 hours a week, then 30 hours a week, etc. What you're going to find is that you're going to start to have more free time, obviously, because you're slowly reducing the amount of time you play these games. So naturally, if you don't fill that time with anything else, you're going to go back to playing video games, because that time's going to feel empty. It's going to feel like something's fundamentally missing from it. You want to replace that time with an activity. You want to replace it with an activity that satisfies the needs that we discovered in step 2. So for example, video games were giving me that sense of progress, right? That sense of like advancing in my life, leveling up. So I just found activities in my life that I could level up. So for me, the big one was going to the gym. Going to the gym was like gaining muscle and getting stronger. It felt like I was leveling up in real life. It was giving me that feeling of leveling up, that feeling of making progress. And I just started getting obsessed with the gym. Like, instead of watching Counter-Strike videos, how to get better in Counter-Strike in my free time, I was watching like gym videos, how to get better form, how to eat better, just kind of getting obsessed with my health in general. So you want to find this new obsession to replace the video game. And also, if you have a need for brotherhood, which I did as well, I realized that a lot of my friends were online, and I was kind of lacking this like social circle that I really wanted in my real life. And it can be tough, because when you quit video games, you're going to start to feel lonely, because the game was satisfying that need. But let that loneliness fuel you to actually go out and make friends in the real world. So start, working on your social skills. Start talking to people more, interacting with people more. If you're in school, start talking to people more in school and learning how to actually make friends. Learning social skills and interacting with people. Or maybe you realize you're lonely and you want a girlfriend. Then fair enough, start working on your dating skills as well. You got to realize that social skills and relationships are a skill. Like how Counter-Strike is a skill. Social skills is also a skill that you can work on and get better at. So working on social skills will give you that feeling of progress, and it will satisfy your need for brotherhood and intimacy. And you can't just replace the video game with anything. Like, you can't just go like, oh, okay, I'm going to start gardening. Because chances are you are deeply obsessed with this video game, right? So you're going to have to replace it with an activity that you can become deeply obsessed with. So that's not just going to be any activity. You're going to have to experiment and let part 2 guide you. Find those activities that fulfill those needs that you have. Like, you want to reach the point where you have no interest to play video games anymore. You are so deeply obsessed with your new activity that you don't even want to play the video game anymore. The video game is literally worse than the life that you have. So that should be your end goal. And so many guys will say like, oh, but what about just like moderating our usage and just playing 1 hour a day? What I said, your life will be so good that you won't even want to play video games, bro. So one hour a day shouldn't even be the goal. The goal should be to enjoy life so much that you don't even care about playing for 1 hour a day. You just want to do your new activity. You just want to live your new life. And one more thing on that. If you're the type of guy who, when you're playing a game, you like to learn about the game, you like to watch stuff on the game, probably on YouTube, you know, watching tips on how to get better in the game, watching gameplay, then I recommend doing the same for your new habit. So if you're going to start going to the gym, start watching YouTube, learn about the gym, how to get better at the gym, how to improve your form, what exercises to do, how to eat better, you know? If you're learning about social skills, watch videos on social skills, even read books on social skills, you know? Use that time on YouTube that you used to use for games and put it towards learning about your new interests that you have. So there we go. That's my 3-step process that I used to stop playing video games, to go from playing many, many hours of video games a day for over a decade to having no interest to playing video games and not playing them at all. Yeah, if you want more content on quitting bad habits, mental health, other self-improvement topics in general, subscribe, bro.